Now if you take up calendar 1317 by Senator Ritchie.
We're going to take up calendar number 1317 on the previous Senate supplemental calendar. Secretary will read.
Calendar number 1317 by Senator Ritchie, Senate Print 7937, an act to authorize.
Last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll. Lay it aside.
Excuse me. The day.
Lay the bill aside for the day.
Do we have, you want to do another? Oh.
Senator DeFrancisco.
Same calendar if we could pick
We're
up.
on the active list, today's active list. Go ahead, Senator DeFrancisco.
No.
Yeah, that one was on today's.
This, today's active, 7761.
No, this board bill,
Is that on the active list?
58.
On the active list?
Today's active list, calendar 1658. That bill was debated if you'd call it up for a vote. And anyone who's not here because of the committee meeting, we've agreed
see that bill.
that they could vote accordingly.
Where is it? Where? Okay, we're on calendar number 1658 of the active list from earlier today. The secretary will call it up.
Calendar number 1658 by Senator Ort, Senate Print 7751, concurrent resolution of the Senate and Assembly.
And again, debate was closed on this. I will call the roll on the resolution.
Resolution pertaining to the hunting and fishing, the constitutional change. That's what the bill was.
Secretary has rung the bell. I have instructed the secretary to call the roll on the resolution.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young.
On this vote, we're going to do it on a non-controversial vote, and anyone who's been marked present today can vote, even though they're physically absent at the moment in view of committee meeting.
So again, the vote is open on calendar number 1658, Senate Bill 7751 by Senator Ort. We are taking a roll call vote right now. If you're in the negative, please raise your hands. The vote will remain open due to various members who are attending committee members in the Capitol. I'm going to announce the results, and again, the desk will keep the voting tally open. Please have members who are not in the chamber attending various committee meetings report their vote to the desk. Secretary will read.
In relation to calendar 1658, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Espaillat, Gianaris, Hamilton, Hoylman, Perkins, Rivera, Sanders, Serrano, and Squadron.
Stewart Cousins is down.
Stu-
Gianaris is up.
Senator Stewart Cousins in the negative, Senator Gianaris in the affirmative. So we're still at 10. Ayes 52, also Senator Peralta.
Yeah, we got 11.
Ayes 51, nays 11.
The resolution is adopted, and the Vote will remain open for members to report to the desk. Senator DeFrancisco, that concludes the reading of the calendars that you advanced.
We're now awaiting the completion of the Higher Education Committee meeting, where there was 2 nominees. As soon as that's done, I'm going to call a meeting of the Finance Committee in room 332.
Just stand at ease for a minute.
We could stand at ease until we have members from the Higher Ed Committee report back that the meeting is done.
We are awaiting the return of committee members from the Higher Education Committee. Upon their return, there will be a meeting of the Senate Finance Committee in room 332. The Senate stands temporarily at ease.
That's a Finance Committee meeting in 332. Senate stands at ease.
That will come to order.
The
Senator
Finance Committee meeting is completed. There'll be an immediate meeting of the Rules Committee in 332. However, while that is going on, there will be, the nominations will be taken up on the floor by Senator Young for confirmation.
There's an immediate meeting of the Rules Committee in room 332. Immediate meeting of the Rules Committee in 332. We will have a Committee on Finance report which will be submitted, read, and considered. Senate will return to order. Senator Lanza,
Mr. President, is there a report from the Finance Committee at the desk?
there is a report of the Finance Committee before the desk.
Mr. President, would you please recognize Senator Young?
Senator? We will read the first one, then recognize Senator Young. Secretary will read.
Senator Young from the Committee on Finance reports the following nomination. As member of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, Veronica Vanterpool of Scarsdale.
Senator Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very pleased to rise to put forward the name of Veronica Vanderpool. As a member of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, Ms. Vanderpool is a professional with 12 years of nonprofit experience in environmental and advocacy organizations. She is highly skilled in communications and media relations. She has management experience, and she was evaluated by the Finance Committee, who recommended that her name should be put forward in nomination and confirmed.
Thank you, Senator Young. Senator Rivera.
Thank you, Mr. President. First things first, as a couple of different nominees that we've already approved for the last couple of days, this lady is from the Bronx, so I have to point that out first of all. But I also will point out that in the last 6 years that I've been in the Senate, as I stated in the Finance Committee, one of the areas of policy that I've always felt that I'm not that knowledgeable in is transportation. And that becomes ever clearer when I speak to Ms. Vanterpool, who for the last 6 years has certainly been somebody, when I have a question about transportation, she is the person that I call. She is somebody who is incredibly knowledgeable about transportation infrastructure, about mass transit, and is somebody who, as somebody who grew up in the Bronx, understands mass transit and the importance to the city. She is somebody who, also as a Latina woman, is incredibly important to have somebody like that on as many boards, including one, than the MTA, that has so much to do with transportation of so many people in the city of New York. For all those reasons, and for her intelligence, her professionalism, and I know she will make us very proud. And I wanted to stand up, Mr. President, and say how awesome a lady she is and how awesome a member of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority she will make. And I obviously will vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Mr. President.
The question is on the nomination of Veronica Vanderpool as a member of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Veronica Vanderpool is confirmed as a member of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Congratulations and best wishes, Veronica. Senator Young. Secretary will read.
As trustee of the City University of New York Board of Trustees, Lorraine Cortez Vasquez of the Bronx.
Senator Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very proud to put forward the name of Lorraine Cortez Vasquez as trustee of the City University of New York Board of Trustees. Ms. Cortez Vasquez has a very distinguished background, both in public and the private sector. She is currently serving as Senior Vice President, Corporate Relations and Government Affairs for Emlyn Health, but she, as I said, has had a variety of service, and she is well known to this chamber as the former Secretary of State. She was New York's 65th Secretary of State and the first Hispanic to serve in that role. I believe that she is highly qualified for this position, and therefore the Finance Committee is putting forward her name.
Senator Klein.
Mr. President, it is truly an honor to rise in support of this nominee, Lorraine Cortez Vasquez. This has been certainly a great couple of days for CUNY appointments, especially from the Bronx. And I have the privilege of knowing Lorraine for many, many years. Besides being a dedicated public servant, whatever Lorraine does, she does it with excellence. Whether she was the head of the Hispanic Federation, whether she worked at Cablevision, where she works now as Executive Vice President for AARP. That was her past job. Now she's with Emblem Health. Everyone knows she was the first Latino to be Secretary of State of the state of New York. She's someone who is truly a public woman, but someone who always remembers who she is and where she came from. She is one of my constituents, one of my neighbors actually, and she's not only a very qualified nominee, but a very, very dear friend. It is my privilege to support the nomination of Lorraine Cortez Vasquez to the MTA.
The question is on the nomination of Lorraine. Senator Espaillat.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also rise to commend the nomination of Lorraine Cortez Vasquez. She is a proven administrator, was a Secretary of State of a region, a New York State region, worked for AARP as an executive, Cablevision, and she has both private sector and public sector experience. But most importantly, she is a Latina woman, and she will bring diversity to a much-needed board that needs different points of views that reflect the opinions of the constituencies that they serve, the students of the city of New York and the students of CUNY. So I welcome her, and I will be voting in support of her nomination. She is, again, a well-proven and well-respected woman across the state of New York, and I commend her for coming forward and looking to work very closely with her as a CUNY trustee. Thank you, Mr. President.
The question is on the nomination of Lorraine Cortez Vasquez as trustee of the City University of New York. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Lorraine Cortez Vasquez is hereby confirmed as a trustee of the City University of New York. Congratulations and best wishes. Senator Lanza.
Mr. President, I move that we continue the legislative business of this House beyond midnight.
Without objection, so ordered. The Secretary will continue.
As trustee of the State University of New York Board of Trustees, Edward Spiro of New York and Courtney Burke of Albany.
Senator Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very pleased to put forward the names to nominate Edward M. Spiro as trustee of the State University of New York Board of Trustees, and also Courtney E. Burke as trustee of the State University of New York Board of Trustees. Both of these individuals are highly qualified. Just wanted to mention a couple of things. Mr. Spiro is a civil litigator with many years of experience handling complex commercial litigation at the trial and appellate level in state and federal courts and in arbitrations for individual and corporate clients. These clients that he represents have a wide variety of tax, real estate, partnership, and employment litigation, but I thought the Chamber would be interested to know that the rock group Guns N' Roses was represented by him in a copyright and unfair competition action. Ms. Burke also is very well known to this Chamber. Lots of professional experience. Currently, she serves as Senior Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer for Albany Medical Center in Albany, New York, but she also served with distinction as Deputy Secretary for Health in the New York State Executive Chamber, working for the governor, working for the people of New York, and also as Commissioner of the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. So, Mr. President, I would say that both of these people, in our estimation, would do an outstanding job on the Board of Trustees, and so we are recommending that they be nominated and confirmed.
The question is on the nominations of Edward Spiro and Courtney Burke as trustees of the State University of New York. All in favor say aye. Senator Espaillat would like to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, unlike the CUNY board, which saw an increase in diversity, as has been mentioned by my colleagues, the SUNY board continues not to exhibit that. And I'm frankly disappointed, although these two candidates nominated are highly qualified. I'm highly disappointed from the second floor that continues not to consider a broad list of nominees for different positions across state commissions and boards. So unfortunately, because of that reason, Mr. President, I will be voting in the negative.
Senator Sanders.
Mr. President, continuing the same theme, I want to recommend to all of my colleagues a report that was put out by the New York State Assembly Puerto Rican Hispanic Task Force on the lack of diversity of the boards. This is not to take away from these great people who are being brought in today. This is to say, however, that the governor has to find the beauty of New York State and the diversity in it. Having said that, I wish them well, but I will join my colleague in not voting for them.
Question has been called. Lavelle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know the hour's late and I wasn't going to speak, but I would say these are two very, very talented, two very highly qualified individuals. And they come before us on the basis of their qualifications, how they answer the questions before the committees. And I think the governor actually picked two qualified individuals. I know that the points of view that were expressed by Senators Sanders and Espaillat certainly should not fall on deaf ears. However, this has nothing to do with people who have been placed before us. The forum for that discussion belongs someplace else. So I vote aye on both candidates.
Senator Martins.
I also rise to compliment the governor on his selection of these two great candidates and great additions to the SUNY board. As the father of a daughter who is attending Binghamton, I want to just thank you and wish you Godspeed, because you're embarking on what is a very important mission for all of us. SUNY, as we all know, is the largest university system in the country. We're very fortunate to have it. The highest caliber of professors and education anywhere. And for us to have that here in our home state and have the ability to send our kids to the school and have the advantages of doing so as New York residents is a wonderful charge. You've been charged with safekeeping our children. I wish you all the best, Godspeed, and again, congratulations to the governor on selecting two wonderful members of the SUNY board. Looking forward to supporting you in your endeavors. Mr. President, I vote.
Question has already been called, and Edward Spiro and Courtney Burke are hereby confirmed as trustees of the State University of New York. Congratulations and best of luck. Secretarial read.
As Commissioner of the Tax Appeals Tribunal, Deidre Skozafava of Governor.
Senator Young, can I have some order in the House?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very happy tonight to be able to nominate Deirdre K. Skozafava as Commissioner of the Tax Appeals Tribunal. She's known to most people as Dee Dee, and she and I were first elected together in 1998 to the New York State Assembly, took office in 1999, was a great class, by the way. And she actually served in the other house for 12 years, achieving the leadership role of Minority Leader Pro Tem. So that certainly was an accomplishment, but she's gone on beyond that. And by the way, I want to mention that not only does she have an extensive record in public service, but also one in the private sector. So she has that management ability and background that I think makes her highly qualified for the position at hand. She currently is the New York State Department of State's Deputy Secretary for Local Government, and there she works to streamline municipal government across the state, and she supervises the local government division's technical assistance, training, and grant programs. and that includes a lot of duties. She actually did represent the 122nd Assembly District, which includes most of St. Lawrence and Lewis counties and a small portion of Oswego County previously. And she launched her career in public service by serving 4 years as trustee in her hometown village of Gouverneur, and then as mayor from 1993 through 1998. So as you can see, she has a deep concern and knowledge for economic development and local economic issues. I think that background will not only serve her well in her new position, but also serve the people of New York State, and I congratulate her very sincerely.
The question is on the nomination of Deidre Scozzafava as Commissioner of the Tax Appeals Tribunal. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Deidre Scozzafava is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the Tax Appeals Tribunal. Dee Dee, congratulations and best of luck. Secretary will read.
As Director of the Urban Development Corporation, Cesar A. Perales of Brooklyn.
Senator Young.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I nominate Cesar A. Perales as Director of the Urban Development Corporation. He also is highly qualified for this position. I think the governor has made an excellent choice, and therefore I would recommend that we approve him. Thank you, Mr. President.
The question is on the nomination of Cesar Perales as Director of the Urban Development Corporation. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Cesar A. Perales has been confirmed as Director of the Urban Development Corporation. Secretary will read.
As Member and Chair of the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority, Sister Denise Roach of Buffalo.
Senator Young.